Hello everyone. It is currently 2:15 a.m. For me, and I just got finished watching Batman Under the Red Hood for like the 100th time. Such a good movie. The best animated superhero. Actually, not even animated. It's the best Batman movie. Not even animated. The best Batman movie. Way better than Mask of the Phantasm. Anyone who thinks Mask of the Phantasm is better, you're wrong. Just with that opinion, you're wrong. Anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just got finished watching this movie, and in it, a big part of the movie is the conflict between Jason and Bruce and their ideals for taking care of Gotham, like their different standpoints on how you take care of this eternally cursed place that is Gotham City. And when watching it, I was like, man, it's so cool seeing Jason try to enact his way of taking care of Gotham, what he would do, but it really sucks that he kind of gave up after this. Like, I love Under the Red Hood. I've talked about this before with Jason, to where Jason's a really cool character. Once he becomes Under the Red Hood as Robin, I didn't really care for him as much, but once he became Red Hood, he's really cool, but he sadly only had like 2 good stories, which is Under the Red Hood and then the Grant Morrison Batman and Robin volume he had. That storyline was good. Other than that, it's all been like, at most, the best Jason story is like okay. Other than that, it's like it goes from bad to okay, and that's it. It's disappointing to say the least, because Jason springs back so well, like in Under the Red Hood. It's like, oh man, this character that no one really cared about that much that got murdered, he's so cool now. And then it just a straight dive. So I was thinking, what if Jason actually got to do his plans on Gotham? And I was thinking about how you would go about doing that, and I was like, what if there was an old man Jason story? I was like, what if there's this old man, this sort of future Elseworlds old man Jason story? Because we get old man stories all the time for characters like Old Man Logan, obviously. Dark Knight Returns is essentially Old Man Bruce. And I was thinking, what about Jason? Now, I have no aspirations to be a comic book writer. I am a terrible writer. I just can't. I'm stupid and I couldn't do it. But I like to think that occasionally I have decent ideas that could be cool stories. So, and back in the day, I used to like share some of these with you guys on YouTube. I would occasionally do it, like I did one about like a Deathstroke killing Batman story. And that's what today is going to be. I want to talk about like a Jason Todd story that I would personally like to see as a fan. So this story is, again, it would be Elseworlds, and in my Gotham, there's some things that are different. So first off, I would condense the Bat family. So my Bat family would consist of, obviously, Batman, then you have Dick, Barbara, Jason, and Tim. That's it. Damian never happened. You don't have Cassandra Cain, like none of that. You don't have anyone else in the Bat family. It's just those that I just mentioned. And also in my Bat family, in my Gotham, I'd have it to where Barbara never recovered from the Killing Joke. She's been crippled ever since Joker shot her. She's never recovered. And this would be taking place obviously in the future because it's Old Man Jason. And I would have it to where Jason was never seen after Under the Red Hood. After the end of Under the Red Hood, when Jason disappears, you don't see him again. He essentially goes underground and Bruce doesn't know where he went, and he's gone, and Bruce just continues being Batman, doing his thing. And this would be taking place, part of this book would take place like when Bruce is in his 50s, like, I don't know, 52, 53, something like that, and still being Batman. Something that I would have take place is, obviously, I would have Batman's death take place, because I want to see Jason's plan enacted for Gotham. I want to see how it would go, and I would really like to sort of ask the question of, is Jason more effective than Batman? I would really like to see that. I think that would be interesting. Not really the question of like, is what he's doing morally right? Because, you know, that's kind of what Under the Red Hood sort of asked, of like, is what Jason's doing morally right compared to what Batman's doing? We kind of got the answer in that, like they kind of tell you. But this would be more of, not necessarily is he morally right, but even if he's morally wrong, is it effective? Like something kind of like that. And I think that could be interesting. And so I wanted to do that, and the only way you do that is you got to get Batman out of the way. You can't have Batman still there, and also then it would just be Under the Red Hood 2.0. You couldn't do that story again, and I wouldn't want to. So I was thinking, how would you do this also with the other Bat family members? So Barbara is still paralyzed. And I also think that's more impactful, and I think it was done when Barbara wasn't paralyzed, because, you know, well, after the Red Hood, I mean, after killing Joke, I always thought that was kind of dumb, and I liked her better as Oracle anyways, but I think it would be more impactful if she never did get, you know, just this cure, and just had to stay crippled. Now, what would Barbara be doing? I could easily see her becoming the Commissioner of Gotham, like she has in some other books in the future. I could see that happening. Now, you have the other Bat family members, like Tim. I think Tim would retire. Now, one of the reasons I'm saying this is Chuck Dixon had a Q&A not too long ago where people asked him about Tim Drake, and he talked about how he didn't see Tim Drake as a lifer in terms of being a superhero, and I thought that was a really interesting take. He talked about how in his mind he saw like Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne were obviously lifers. They're going to be superheroes for life, like that's their thing, but Tim was like, this was he was doing this for a little bit, and then he was going to like get married, have kids, and like settle down and retire. And that was going to be it because of how Tim was. And I was like, that's kind of an interesting take. I think that'd be cool, and I would like to do that in this scenario. I think it'd be cool to have Tim, like, he did his thing, he did it in his prime, and then he kind of realized his time was up, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go, you know, just start a family and, like, live like a normal person now. I think that'd be an interesting take for Tim, and I'd like to see that. And also it'd come into play later on, like I'll get to in a bit. Now, as far as Bruce's death and how that would come about, I would just have it be, instead of like, you know, Batman Beyond's kind of the more happy, like the more happier later life for Bruce, because he has to where he realizes, you know, he can't do it anymore, and he's older, and he passes the mantle off. I would have it to where Bruce doesn't get so lucky, he doesn't get to that point. Bruce, instead, age does catch up with him. Like I said, he's like in his 50s. Now, who would kill him? I was thinking about this, and I was like, man, there's so many different people that you could do it. I was like, what about Hush? What if Tommy Elliott did it? I was like, obviously the Joker's an obvious choice. I was thinking about all these different people who would kill him, and then I thought, you know who could kill him? Someone who doesn't age. Someone who doesn't get affected like he does. Because all these other villains, the problem is they age with him. And no, it's not Ra's al Ghul or anything like that. It was the Court of Owls. I was like, what if the Court of Owls lay low and wait? What if they realize, because, you know, they just keep getting their ass kicked by Batman. If like, yeah, he's not eternal like we are. What if the court killed him? I was like, I think that could be interesting. And I would have him get killed by the Court of Owls. I don't know about like the whole circumstances of everything happening, but that's how I would do it. I'd have him get killed by the Court of Owls, because I was thinking like, you know, everyone else is going to be aging with Bruce. Like an old Joker killing him doesn't really make sense. So I was thinking the Court of Owls. And then after that, I would have Dick take up the mantle like he has before. And then, as much as I hated this, I was like, I think Dick needs to die as well. Because I don't want another, like, I don't want another Dick versus Jason scenario. We've had that too many times. And also, I think it's another thing that prompts more of Jason coming back out. Is not only if Bruce dies, but Dick does as well, instead of just Bruce dying. And I don't know how I would have Dick die, honestly. In my head, I was thinking the way he would die would possibly be an Old Man Logan type scenario. Not in terms of how the villains took over. You know, how the villains took over in Old Man Logan was they realized they're like, hey, there's like 60 of us for every one superhero, so if we all teamed up, we can just kill them. It would be so easy. I would think about that. I'd be like, word would get out that the Court of Owls killed Batman, like he's done, and this new Batman's not actually that Batman. And it would kind of give them a confidence boost. Be like, man, the real Batman got killed by just the court. Imagine what we could do to this fake Batman. Like, sort of this, because half of Batman is his mystique. It's not even his own ability. It's because everyone knows who he is and like what he can do. And so a big part of him is the fear he has. And so people are, you know, a little bit afraid. And so I feel like this would give every villain in Gotham like the like guts to actually go out there. And I would have them kill Dick. I don't know how I would have it happen, but I feel like it would have to be like, I would try to make it like a triumphant last stand for Dick. Like saving someone or something, and just a lot of villains coming at him. I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I really wish Dick wouldn't have to die, even though this is just a fake scenario in my own head about a fictional character. I was like, man, I hate it when my favorite characters die, but in service of the story, I feel like it would make sense. And so when this happens, Jason comes out from his sort of hiding. He was in hiding the whole time. And I think part of the reason he'd be in hiding is to realize that he was not as good as Batman yet. And under the Red Hood, Batman, when Batman really wanted to turn it on, he was clearly levels ahead. And also, as we saw in the follow-up stories, even though in my Gotham those follow-up stories didn't take place, but in the follow-up stories we actually got, we saw that Jason gets outclassed by like Dick Grayson all the time. So, which I'm fine with, but I would have it to where Jason was just improving himself this whole time. Like, this whole time he was just improving himself, getting ready, and then he gets the news that Bruce died and Dick died, and now he realizes that Gotham is too much and it's time for him to come in and actually make a play. Bruce couldn't do it. His number one protege, his number one son, Dick, couldn't do it. It's time for Jason to come in and make a change. And Jason would come in, it would be bloody, it would be brutal, and he'd be doing what he believes needs to be done. And this would draw Tim Drake out of retirement. Because I was thinking, I wasn't thinking about Tim Drake at first, about coming in to take on Jason. Because I was like, he can just, like, who's the adversary for Jason? It's like, oh, it's everyone in Gotham. But then it's like, then it's just, you don't really have that one-on-one. You don't have, like, someone for him to go against. It's just like, oh, he goes and he takes on this guy, and then he takes on this guy, and then he takes on it. But, and also, again, they're all going to be older. It's like, what if you have someone younger, but like Tim? Although Tim will be a little rusty because he has been retired for a bit. And you'll also have the dynamic of what to have, like, Tim be, like, married and have kids. And so he's got to worry about that as well. And I think that would just be really interesting to see Tim take on Jason. And I would like to see the effects that Jason would have on Gotham, and maybe Gotham does get better, but also it is one of those things, like, it got better, but by what means? Was it worth it? That's what you can decide. Was it worth it? And I think that'd be really interesting. Now, how it would end, I have no clue. Like I said, I just thought about this literally during the ending credits of Under the Red Hood. I was like, the music was playing, soundtrack in that movie is awesome, by the way. Soundtrack was playing, but end credits were playing, and I was like, man, this stuff, like, I was just thinking about this, because there's no good Jason stories other than, like, 2. So I was like, what would be a cool Jason story? And I was thinking about that. So you'd have, obviously, Barbara would be helping Dick. She would be the oracle to, not Dick, to Tim. She would be the oracle to Tim to really help him take down Jason, because knows what Jason is doing is not what Bruce or Dick would have wanted. And so it'd be sort of them two against Jason while Jason's taking out all the villains. And yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I would love to sort of recreate the ending of Under the Red Hood with, you know, Bruce, Jason, and Joker, except replace Bruce with Tim. I think that could be interesting. I would like to say that, except this time Jason wins. This time Jason is better, and this time Jason kills Joker. Now, that's not necessarily the end of the book, but I would like to see that scenario take place. Like, you have something similar, except not, you know, not the whole, why didn't you save me? Because it wouldn't make sense for him having that with the Tim. But instead, we do get that scenario of him, like, getting Joker and going to kill him, and Tim tries to stop him, but this time Jason's like, nah, and just kills Joker. I would definitely have him kill Joker. Or you could even do a throwback to, like, Dark Knight Returns. You could have it at the, you know, that when he's being interviewed on TV, except instead of, you know, Batman brings him back out and all that, instead of something like that, you just have, like, when he's being interviewed on TV, he just straight up gets executed by Red Hood. That could actually be interesting, as well as sending, like, a message. Because imagine that. Imagine if Joker has been cured. You know, how in Dark Knight Returns, he was docile because Batman had been gone into retirement until Batman came back, then he came back as well. Well, if it was something like that, well, if Joker's, like, done being Joker, everyone's like, oh man, it's insane that the Joker's, like, basically cured and he's good. And Jason doesn't care and executes him on live TV. And it's like, I don't care if you have bettered yourself. It doesn't matter. You're done. Like, Red Hood is here, and Red Hood is here to deliver Red Hood justice. I think that could be really interesting. But yeah, that's basically it. The rough story details. Again, I don't have the ending or anything worked out. I am not a writer. I would be awful at it. I know I'd be terrible. I'm an idea guy. I'm just a fan of these characters, and this is something I thought could be interesting. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of this idea? Because out of all, like, the old man stories, like, this is gonna be cool to see, like, an older Jason, even though he wouldn't be that old, because he wouldn't be, like, because Bruce would be in his, like, 50s. And I think it would be interesting also to see Bruce, like, undone just by age, because Bruce is a guy that would never give up, and I would, like, this would be a very stubborn Bruce that wouldn't pass on the mantle. He would just die protecting Gotham, and it would be to the Court of Owls. But yeah, again, let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of this? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, and comment even if you don't have anything to say, because it helps the algorithm. I appreciate all the algorithm warriors in the comments that I've been seeing lately. It helps. And yeah, I just wanted to make this random ass video at 2:30 in the morning. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.